Hey, empty nesters, is it time to maybe leave that big family home, maybe downsize a bit, or not, but maybe just kind of change your lifestyle? Or maybe you're not even an empty nester, but you're getting over the whole hustle and bustle of maybe living in a busier city, looking for a little slower pace, super safe area. Today, I'm going to talk about kind of the pros and cons of living in a 55 and over community. I'm actually here in Oakmont Village, which is Sonoma County's premier 55 and over community. And anytime you make a change like this, there's going to be pros and cons. So stay tuned today and we'll kind of tap in to those yays and nays of changing to this kind of a lifestyle. But first, I'm Julie Sullivan with Sullivan Group Real Estate, and we help people move in and out of Sonoma County every year. And so if you're thinking of making a change like this, reach out, let's chat. I can tell you a lot about Oakmont, a lot about the different housing, and see if it is the right fit for you or time for you, or maybe just to move into Sonoma County. Maybe you're not ready for the senior community, but let's talk about it. Stay tuned. We're gonna hit all the pain points and the good points of living in a 55 and over community. All right, so this is a big decision when you're thinking about making this move into this 55 and over community. You know, you may have lived in your house for a long time. You do love your neighborhood. You raised your kids maybe in that house, but maybe that house is getting kind of older. You're looking at needing to do some updates. A lot of the systems are getting older, and maybe it's just too big. Maybe you're in that big city like I alluded to earlier, and it's time to slow down the pace a little bit. And maybe you're kind of sitting on a gold mine in this other house, and you've been there a long time, you've built up a lot of equity, you could sell that home, downsize a bit, supplement your retirement, and really live comfortably and enjoy the next bunch of years. So, pros and cons though, let's talk about it. Let's start with the cons. I always like to, let's get the bad stuff out of the way and then we'll talk about the good stuff. So, con number one, I think, or thing maybe that would bug you is an HOA. Almost across the board, these communities are going to have some kind of an HOA. The HOA generally pays for all of your common area landscaping and common grounds, and also all of the facilities that are offered in these communities, like pools and rec centers and gyms and lectures and classes and arts and crafts and so on and so on. I actually did a whole video on all the amenities that Oakmont Village itself does offer. But if you're not gonna take advantage of any of these things, you could start to feel like you're just kind of tossing that money out the window. And then these HOAs, they have a lot of rules and a lot of restrictions. So you've got to be comfortable with that. You know, there are rules about how, in most of these senior communities, there are rules about how many nights your grandchildren can stay a year. You want to take them to the pool, there's only going to be certain hours that the kids can swim and use the pool. I mean, they are here for all of the residents. There's going to be rules about how many cars you can park in the driveway, or boat and RV parking, what colors you can paint your house, so you got to make sure you're comfortable with this. And if you're looking into one of these communities, definitely get a hold of those HOA documents and make sure you're comfortable with all the rules that are going to be enforced in this community. Okay, so reason number two that these senior communities might not be for you is it has been pointed out to me over the years that a lot of these neighbors might have a little too much time on their hands, okay? They may be quick to point out the things you're doing wrong, like you're not supposed to have two cars in your driveway, or you didn't separate your trash correctly, kind of little nitpicky neighbors. I've kind of heard the terms binocular man or HOA police. So kind of be ready for a little bit of that. And I mean, I guess if you just befriend your neighbors and kill them with kindness, hopefully you'll get that back. But that can be something you deal with in these communities. Reason number three, these communities are not a dating app. And I think that's kind of funny. These communities are generally 3-to-1 women to men. I mean, think about it. There's 3,200 homes and only 4,800 residents. So it kind of sounds like if you're single and you want to mingle, this could be your place, but that's really not what it's all about here. So if that's your thing, this might not be the right community for you. Reason number 4, and I thought when I was kind of doing my research on this, I thought this was kind of interesting, but it has also been kind of pointed out in these communities that it's like kind of 5 o'clock somewhere a lot. There's a lot of social stuff. There's a lot of happy hour going on. Now, across the board, maybe that's not totally true in a community like Oakmont because there's so many amenities and so many of them are kind of around physical fitness and outdoor activities and moving your body. So hopefully that's not going on. But if that's not your thing and happy hour and that kind of, it's kind of the social life and they don't have to go to work the next day. And from what I'm reading and researching, that kind of happens a lot around here. Okay, reason number 5 here. And this one you may find kind of interesting, but there can be a lot of people around. Okay, think about this. Everybody doesn't get up in the morning and go to work. I mean, I know when like my kids were young and I wasn't working for a little bit, my neighborhood was kind of a ghost town during the day. All the cars would leave, the people would leave because everybody was working. Most families were, both parents work. But here, nobody's going to work for the most part. I mean, I know people that are just 55 may still be going to work, and there is some of that going on. So you have a lot of people around during the day. Plus, there's a lot of service providers like landscapers and housekeepers and home maintenance people, plus just the community staff that is around here facilitating all of the different rec centers and classes and functions that are constantly evolving in all these rec centers, and then the maintenance staff for all the common grounds and so on. So kind of an interesting thing to think about. But even as we've been here in Oakmont Village this morning, there is considerable traffic. It's kind of neat to see everybody out and about, but you do have to be okay with that. Okay, reason number 6, and don't laugh at this, or maybe you won't laugh, but there's a lot of old people here. Okay, which is kind of funny, but if you are just 55 or maybe just like 65 or, in your early 60s and retiring and looking into communities like this, you are going to be living among a lot of people that are 70, 80, 90 years old. Oakmont Village is very active, don't get me wrong, but they do have assisted living and live on your own options. And they do have a wide array of age groups living here. I am told that over the years, as these kind of communities have become more popular, the median age is getting younger and tipping more into that 50s and 60s and 70s more than the 80s and 90s. But you're going to be living among old people, and that's just what it is. If you still want to see kids running around in the street and hear their voices and playing at night, it's not going to be in a 55 and over community. So you kind of just have to be ready for that. All right, we touched on all the reasons you might not want to move into a 55 and over community, but let's talk about the good things. There are so many good things, and obviously because these 55 and over communities are becoming so popular and popping up all over the United States. So I think one of the main and biggest draws to these communities is they're safe. They're safe and they're quiet. Okay, these communities generally have most of them, I know Oakmont does, they have security patrolling around. Really, if you don't live in Oakmont, people don't really pull into this community. I mean, you have to there's 2 entrances off of Highway 12, to use this one as an example. So if you live here, you live here. If you don't, you really don't have a reason to turn in. So this is overall a super safe community between the patrol and neighborhood watch. Remember one of my cons earlier? And it's quiet. These communities do tend to roll up pretty early in the evening. There's not loud music. There's not teenagers, racing their cars up and down the street or blasting their music. So safe and quiet is a huge draw to these communities. Reason number 2, one of the big pros, is these communities can really be quite a value. Again, I'm going to use Oakmont as an example because it's the one in our community. They have so many different types of housing available. I mean, from like condo style living, if you really wanted to downsize and really wanted to stay on the lower end price wise, they have attached units like duplex and triplex units. There's a lot of those here in Oakmont. And then there are the single family homes as well. And they range from, 1,200 square feet. And then they do have their big sprawling single family homes, but there is something for everyone here and at every price point, and you really can find quite a value. And compared to the rest of Sonoma County prices, The value is right here. All right. Reason number 3, or pro number 3, benefit number 3, is there's an instant people connection in these communities. You are going to find people here with the same mindset as you, interests, purpose, because there's so many opportunities to meet people. I kind of talk about like it being like a cruise ship. You know, there's so many things to do here. Oakmont, again, as the example, has 125 plus clubs here. So whether you're into sewing or quilting or cooking, any kind of arts and crafts, walking, hiking, just to the left of me here is lawn bowling. They have like this lawn bowling club that's been here since 1965. I mean, there's swimming, there's you name it. They have different political clubs. So you're gonna instantly meet people that think just like you do or have the same interests you do. And how fun is that? So that's definitely a plus, especially if you're moving to a senior community away or outside of your area that you've been living in all the years. All right, benefit number 4. I love this one so much, is communities like this can help you find your purpose. I know I hear this a lot with people that are retiring or almost hesitant to retire, and they're like, what am I going to do every day? What is going to fulfill me? How am I going to fill my days? And again, going back to all the different groups and organizations and clubs, you really could find your purpose here in a community like this. Of course, you're going to be fueling your passions and your interests because there's probably a club here that has that same interest. Maybe you'll end up teaching a class, or maybe you'll join a group that works out in the community for like a greater cause. And it really it fuels you and fires you up, and you get excited about every day. And that's what these communities are hoping to do, whether it's physical or intellectual or socially. They have something for everybody that way. All right, benefit number 5, or pro number 5 of living in these senior communities is all the activities. I've been kind of touching on that. Again, these are meant to be active communities. They're not just a place to buy a house and park your stuff. It's meant to be a whole lifestyle around the community in which you live. Like here in Oakmont, there's 2 golf courses, there's 4 different rec centers, 3 pools, there's pickleball and tennis and bocce ball and lawn bowling, and I saw a shuffleboard course. You name it, you guys, there is something for everybody. And that's part of the draw and why people move into these communities. And again, you find like-minded people, and it's just something really enjoyable to do. All right, last but not least, and I saved this one for last on purpose because I talked about it as the first con or reason why you don't want to live here, but it really can also be a benefit, and that is those HOAs, okay? The HOAs like here in Oakmont, they're really pretty darn reasonable considering what is included. I mean, gosh, everybody there is, like I said, all the rec centers, all the classes, they bring in lecturers from Sonoma State and Santa Rosa Junior College, and they maintain all the pools. The landscaping in this Oakmont village is gorgeous, and your HOA pays for that. The other benefit of these HOAs, which can be a con if it's not for you, it's just all where your mindset is the rules. They have these rules in place for a reason. They want this to be a community for older people, retired people. I mean, if you want to hear the sounds of kids every day, don't move here, but they're in place for a reason. Or parking your RV and your boat in the driveway. They have parking lots for that. So I think it can definitely be a benefit in that, like I said, those rules are there for a reason, and the amenities and the community in which you get to live in, I think makes it really worthwhile. All right, so what do you think? Are you ready? Are you not ready? Do you want to learn more? Reach out if you think a 55 and over community is for you. I said, I've been in Oakmont here today, which is our premier largest 55 and over community here in Sonoma County. We do have others as well. They're just smaller and kind of more of just like a little neighborhood, where this is a full-on, like I said, lifestyle. And I would love to tell you more. We do have other videos about all the amenities, and we have another one that kind of even goes over all the different types of housing, because as I alluded to in one of the pros, there's all sorts of different types of housing at all different price points, something for everyone. So love to hear from you. My contact info is always here. I answer the phone every time. Reach out, let's chat some more. I can tell you a little bit more, answer any questions you might have, take you on a little tour of Oakmont. I would love to do that. Hope to hear from you soon, and thanks for watching.